Masters table. Masters table.
Master elements.
Masters table. Masters table.
Racism, white supremacy is a dynamic system for the ultimate purpose of white genetic survival on the planet. White supremacy.
You are in an evil system, a system that is designed deliberately to produce evil thoughts, to produce animosity, to produce violence.
Introduction to African civilizations and man-garden civilization.
Master elements. Master elements.
We dedicate lives to the study of history.
They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation.
The right way is clearly distinct from error.
Racism is a competitive relationship between groups of people who are competing for the ownership and control of resources, wealth, and power.
And those Africans have to be organized to fight for their liberation.
GW Apparel, a clothing that speaks. Something for the kings, something for the queens. Visit uptsites.com and use promo code SLDG22 and receive 11% off your order. Peace.
It's the Ticket Plug. We've been running an online ticket business for over a decade, and now we've created an easy way for you to do the same thing through our private ticket resale community. Joining our community will give you a way to flip your bread and generate profit income consistently. We provide you with all the tools, training, and resources needed to start your life-changing online ticket business. Zero experience needed. To join our ticket resale community, go to thetickettrap.com. Again, go to thetickettrap.com. That's thetickettrap.com.
Yeah, like that. Let's see what's in the God's mind. Listen.
Peace, family. What's good? How's everybody doing this morning? Good morning, everybody. We're usually not here this early. We're usually not here on a Monday, but we are here today, goddammit. So good morning to everybody. Appreciate everybody tuning in with us. Oh, and here go my lovely co-host right here. And so for those of y'all that don't know, I am the God Sincere Love, and I am here with my lovely co-host, Nicety Girl. We are in the digital building for a special episode of the Black Business Showcase, man. So appreciate everybody tapping in with us this morning. What up, Nicety?
What's up? What's good, everybody? And also, don't forget that today is the first day of the DNC's National Convention. So this is a very, very special episode of Godcast Enterprises. Sincere Love, the Godcast.
Show ear. And so those of y'all that are coming up in here, make sure that y'all do us that favor, hit that like button, share this out on your social media platforms, and let everybody know that we are live this morning. If you're not already subscribed to us, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Godcast Enterprises, as well as Sincere Love the God. Click those subscribe buttons and notification bells so you can be reminded whenever we go live with new episodes of Sincere Love the Godcast. Right now, we are banned from going live on Facebook and Instagram. So we just on YouTube today. I think I got like 20 something more days before I could go live on those platforms. But you know how I do. A lot of people was reporting the post that I put up about your girl Kamala. It was just a joke, family. Why y'all so sensitive, man?
Isn't it sick?
Why y'all so sensitive, man? We just having a little fun. But it's all good, man. It's all good. And so, yeah, what's up, Virgo Venom? What's going on? So, yeah, this is going to be a special one. So, of course, we got a dynamic guest coming up for y'all this morning, and we're going to let y'all know who that is. Right now,
Right
we good?
now. We
We
wait
good
now.
with announcements? Yeah,
Yeah, we
let's
good.
get it in. So, our guest for this morning is Zoe Leigh. Zoe credits her drive and motivation to her mother, who humorously predicted that Zoe would never have a regular job due to her lighthearted nature. Known for her expertise in branding, marketing, and assisting creatives and entrepreneurs, Zoe is a behind the scenes powerhouse who enhances brands and boosts success. A native of Albany, New York, shout out to Albany, New York, began her career in comedy with professional training in improv and writing in Second City. She quickly advanced to producing comedy shows, including booking the legendary comedian and civil rights activist Baba Dick Gregory at the Laugh Factory. This initial booking led to a deep friendship and mentorship, which Zoe highly values. In 2013, Zoe became Dick Gregory's assistant, managing the last 4 years of his career by producing 20 shows and booking 200 appearances. She also handled Gregory's notable interview at the Breakfast Club on Power 105.1, one of the show's top interviews. Since then, Zoe has continued to create and brand talent, producing 3 sold-out comedy tours featuring artists like Jess Hilarious, Blame It on Quay, and Ha Ha Davis. She currently manages comedian Just Ness. Zoe also runs Uncomfortable Truth Lifestyle, a brand that opposes cancel culture and promotes open expression. In 2023, Zoe took on the city of Chicago over the unlawful demolition of her family's property and has been advocating for housing and property ownership justice in Black communities. She has spoken at numerous city council and committee meetings and made her debut at the Breakfast Club. Zoe is dedicated to fighting for justice for Black families, seniors, children, women, and men. She also hosts the podcast Dick Gregory Taught Me to honor Dick Gregory and continue his vision for humanity. And today, she is here with you and I, family, on Sincere Love the Godcast. So let's welcome her to the show, family. Zoe, welcome to the Godcast.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that was like a dope introduction. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you being here. And you are in Chicago, correct?
Yes, I'm working on my little posters. I have a march at 11 a.m. Central Time.
Okay.
So I'm getting ready for the Black Agenda March. Coming from the South Side of Chicago. 56 years ago, Dick Gregory did the same thing for the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. He did East 55th Place going to 18th Street. That's where he resided at the time in Hyde Park. I'm doing 55th and King Drive to 18th Street, which will take me directly to the McCormick. And, of course, they're stopping me at the McCormick Place because that's where part of the DNC is, and United Center as well.
Nice. What's the vibe outside? As far as, people, us, Black people, Foundation of Black Americans out there, I guess asking for something versus being excited just to be there.
Black Chicago, big mad.
Okay.
They are mad just because this is everybody knows that Chicago is a Democratic city, and the only reason why the state of Illinois hasn't turned red is because of Black Chicago. And I think they've just been so comfortable with giving us scraps for so long that we are just like trained to vote blue, no matter who. And I always say that our ancestors and for some people that are atheists, our ancestors, for some people that do believe in a higher power, like Mr. Gregory used to say, the universal God. I think God was trying to figure out, what can I do to get these niggas? What can I say? Can I
say?
Okay.
We curse over here.
Okay.
Yes.
What can I do to get these niggas to understand that The Democratic Party does not give a fuck about y'all.
Period.
To make you realize, like, and I think the easiest thing was to open up the border and then hand them all these resources for free.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought we were going to just be okay with it. And Chicago was the wrong city because this is a segregated city. It's been a segregated city for a very long time. South Side do South Side, even South Side and West Side, blacks are segregated. They do their own thing. And I think they thought they were going to put these migrants in our neighborhoods and it wasn't going to be no pushback.
Right.
And we were like, oh, fuck no. And we started just, me at the time, I understood the migrant issue, but I was out there fighting for housing. So I never was even going into the committee meetings at the time. I was outside of City Hall protesting about eminent domain. Like, these niggas are stealing black people property.
Right.
So that's what I'm like, ain't no way in the world. My mother's been voting this long for these motherfuckers, and I can't get no help.
Right.
Like, this doesn't make any sense. So I'm outside protesting about eminent domain while I see so many other people going inside, going to these committee meetings. I didn't understand the committee meeting thing. I just know that Dick Gregory protested, the Daily Center at that time when I was looking to make sure I couldn't get arrested. I looked up, when you look on the ACLU website, Dick Gregory sued the city of Chicago for violating his First Amendment with a peaceful protest. So I was like, okay, bet. I'm good as long as I can protest and have no issue. So when I'm protesting outside about eminent domain, I'm seeing all these other nationalities coming to me like, oh, yeah, they did that to our family, but we were able to get a lawyer, take care of it, whatever. Chicago's crazy. But when black people would walk past me, they'd be like, damn, yep, they did that to my family. They did that to my family. But they normalize this. Like, this is just what they do. This was what Chicago do. They just take your property. And it's like,
and nobody's fighting.
Yeah,
Nobody's
I'm
really
like,
fighting.
What the fuck do you mean they just take your property? Yeah, I mean, this one guy said they took his whole family, whole block. What the fuck do you mean they took your whole block? And no money. And so I'm like, so we're not getting compensated. So I just start doing my research. Again, you couldn't find an attorney. My mother would be telling me this, like, she'd been fighting this in 2017. My mother kept every piece of paper, and every voicemail from the law department. And my mother would do all these steps, and they still would tell her, nope, nope. And they have it's a machine that Chicago does, and probably other cities do this as well, and others in other states do this as well. What they'll do is they'll tell you to file, if you file a claim, right? And you file the claim with the city. And of course, just like any other claim of justice, they want to play you, don't want to barely pay you, and all that type of stuff. But with this situation, because they were trying to steal this property on a personal level that my mother really didn't realize because of the TIF money, that they denied the claim. And then when my mother went and tried to get, when she tried to get an attorney, they even told the attorney, oh, the statute of limitations is up. Now that's insurance fraud. Right. But at that time, still not understanding, right? My mother's not understanding. She's trying to get an attorney. The attorney's basically trying to make it like she's delusional and she's crazy. And it's like, nah, y'all working with these people. Y'all working with the city. So what they'll do is then they'll say, well, you can file a lawsuit. But they tell you to file the lawsuit in state court. When you file the lawsuit in state court, and they work with the state judges, they work with the state lawyers, if they get that dismissed without prejudice, right, you have to go and appeal it in state court again. You can't take it to the federal level. You can't take it to the federal level. You would have to go from state to Supreme Court. And you know how long it takes for you to get something in Supreme Court? No, you got to go straight to federal court because they're violating constitutions and they violating federal laws. So a lot of people have lost their cases here because they lost it in state court. They had all the evidence, they had everything, But when you're paying these judges, when you're paying these lawyers, and they got more money than we do, you understand? Now you stuck. Now you got to take it to Supreme Court, and it's very, very rare if you'll be able to get heard in Supreme Court, and that's how they've been able to continue to do this. But my mother took it to federal court, and with being, those are appointed by they're appointed by the president as well. State court, they're voted in by us.
Yeah.
That's why we need to realize, you need to really
vote local.
Yeah, we need to understand who the fuck y'all voting in. These are fucking devils. So, with that being said, my mother kept it in federal court, and thank God she kept it in federal court, because now November 1st, I was able to argue the case to the judge and explain to him, we can't get an attorney, we can't get any help, because they have it designed that you can't get any help here. They prey on black seniors. They prey on our property. They prey on our generational wealth. It's a machine, and they continue to do this. And I said, Your Honor, this is my generational wealth they playing with. And I was able to argue it so good, but I didn't have an attorney, and I can't represent my mom. I was just able to go up there to explain that. So from November 1st until the Breakfast Club interview, we never got an answer, because I knew they were going to try to dismiss it. But we received an answer last Monday, and they gave us until September 6th to amend the complaint, meaning that I have to add my godfather, because he's one of the original owners, to the complaint, and I get to add the defendants of my alderman, who was supposed to offer us some type of compensation when it first happened, and then the commissioner of buildings department, which is Marlene Hopkins, who allows these people to come in there, tell her anything, and she puts certain things in the system that makes it look like you have all these building violations. That's how our liquor license get taken in our community. And if we ain't got no liquor license in our community, what's the purpose of us having a bar? You understand? These are things that they've been doing, and they continue to do, because we ain't on it, and we don't have the representation. We don't have these it's sellouts everywhere, and sellouts is not just black sellouts. They all different colors, nationalities, because the government got so much money, so they can get paid off. So with us, it was one of them things like, y'all got me extremely fucked up, and y'all got my family fucked up. And if y'all think that y'all are going to not pay my mother, especially when she put $500,000 in this, got the blueprints, did everything she was supposed to do, and you're not going to give her money back, then I guess I'm going to fucking die trying, because y'all got me all the way fucked up.
Man.
Wow.
So we've been of course we critical of some of the stuff that they do over at the Breakfast Club over here, but I got to pop my collar for them giving you a platform, and helping get the word out about the fight that you got going on out there. But for people who still are not familiar with you like that, take us back a little bit, give us your background. How'd you get tapped in with Dick Gregory and all of that before this whole fight started for you? Who is Zoe?
Originally from Albany, New York. My father is Charles Lee. He played on the 1972 Miami Dolphins, the only team that's still undefeated to this day.
Oh, wow.
My mom is Charlene Marsh. She's out of Chicago, Illinois. She's one of the first black people to work for Xerox through the affirmative action. And the difference between me and my mother is she's an Aquarius too. I'm an Aquarius too, but she's not a fighter. See, she fights enough, but she gives up. Not this one. I'm a January one, so maybe it's the Capricorn in me. But she ended up leaving. Chicago and moving to New York. So I was raised in New York. I was raised predominantly with white kids and stuff like that. I wasn't around like black kids until like when I got kicked out of high school. I was a very I was a kid that never was scared to speak my mind. I came out at a very young age. I came out when I was 10 years old, and the reason why I say that is because I remember when I came, my mother found a letter from a girl, or a childhood a girl that was in my class, and my mother was like, "You like girls? You gay? You gay?" And I remember she called my aunt, "Girl, Zoe gay, Zoe gay," just going off on me. And I remember telling her, I said, "You're treating me just like how you say white people treat black people." And she just paused.
Oh.
And the next day after that, she apologized. She took me to school. But me saying that is, I didn't know the words lesbian, gay, bisexual, none of that stuff. I just knew that I was attracted to women. And saying that to say that in 1996, first now, where how they're trying to force this stuff on our kids is disrespectful, because I'm a human being first, and I knew that I always had feelings that I liked girls. But I never knew the words. I never knew the terminology or anything like that. So when I wanted to cut my hair when I was 14 and 15, my mother used to be like, "Yeah, you can do everything you want to do when you turn 18. Like, bitch, I already accepted that you're gay, goddamn it." You know what I'm saying? So, so that's that shit you can do when you're 18. And I thank her for that, because now that what I see, I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is a circus, and they've turned the Democratic Party into a circus. So when I graduated from high school, I moved to DC, lived in DC for some time. Also, I've been locked up before. I've been to Bedford. I was locked up in Bedford for a fake ID. I used to go to this club back in Brooklyn called the Lab. I don't even think it's there anymore. But when I first turned 18, I had to get in there, but you had to be 21. So I had a fake ID, and it come from a racist ass town, Albany, New York. So they gave me a felony and gave me a 1 to 3. So I've been to Bedford
for a fake ID to
for
go
a
in the
fake
club.
ID. Yes, I've
Dang.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, just take it and say, "Get your little ass at home. You're not old enough."
But that just shows you how they try to put records on us on a young age, right? So you have me at 18 years old at fucking Bedford Correctional Facility. Then I go from there to this place called fucking Taconic, and it's fun, I have all this experience. But the best thing about New York was, because this happened before when I was 17, that my record is sealed. So it doesn't, but I experienced that. Experienced all that. New York I kept violating parole in New York. When my mother tried to get me to go to Georgetown school. When I enrolled in Georgetown, they violated me. They just kept violating me. So what my mother did was she moved me down to New York City, and I got off parole. I had like one more year, but I got off parole in 60 days because my parole officer was like, why the fuck they didn't throw this ID away? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you even here? So that was a miracle. So after I was done with that, my mother used to tell me, well, since you have a record and you always just doing anything, you might as well, you're not probably going to get a regular job. So you need to get into comedy. You've always been funny. You need to get into comedy, and I'll support you. So I used to go to the comedies. It's a comedy place in New York. But I used to go to that a lot. Gladys, I can't even think of it right now. But I started my career. I had to bring 15 and 20 people to these bringer shows in New York City. And I'm like, God damn. But I would bring them. I would get them. This was before Facebook. I mean, we had Facebook, but before we had Instagram or any of this stuff. So I'm just posting it on Facebook like, hey, meet me at this club. Meet me at that club. and they would come, and I would just talk about my crazy relationships with these bitches, and all of those type of things. And then then I moved to Baltimore. When I was living in Baltimore, Paul Mooney was performing at the Baltimore Comedy Factory, and I was like, "Oh, I want to go see Paul Mooney," because I wanted to be a writer, a comedy writer. I was like, so yeah, I was like, he wrote for Richard Pryor,
Right.
so I'm like, okay, I want to go see him. So when I went to go see him, his opening act was Dick Gregory, and I'm like, damn, okay, I'm like, damn, he's still out here, doing, because I know him as far as the activist, but I'm like, he's still okay, so he's still doing comedy, that's good, and he was so funny and so entertaining, and was still cursing and stuff like that. I was like, okay, my man. And after the show, um, I went to take a picture. I wanted to take a picture with Mr. Gregory, took a picture with him, no problem. When I went to go to Paul Mooney, the lady who was working with him was like $50. I said, $50 for a picture? I was like, oh, hell no. So I never took a picture with Paul Mooney that day because I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying $50. $50 is crazy. And I could not afford $50. Like, I'm trying to figure this out myself. But Dick Gregory was so nice. Took the picture with me. We talked, all that stuff. When I started doing my own comedy shows, because I was tired of only getting 5 minutes. I'm bringing 15, 20 people to these places and y'all only giving me 5 minutes?
Yes, yeah.
Hell no. So I started doing my own comedy shows in DC. Then my mother paid for me to go to Second City in Chicago. So I moved to Chicago and did Second City. While I was doing Second City, I was coming up with my year anniversary of producing my own comedy shows. And I reached out to Dick Gregory's camp. And Dick Gregory's camp, and it actually really was just his wife. And his wife told me to fax my request to her. I was like, fax?
That's facts. Wow.
Yeah. So I faxed my request. I remember walking into the Taste of Chicago. We were going to go see Robin Thicke that time. My mom was with me as well. And I see a 202 number. So I pick up the phone and I'm like, hello. And I hear, God bless, Dick Gregory. And I said, oh, hi, Mr. Gregory. So my mother takes the phone. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I used to see you on the Ed Sullivan show. I used to see you on the Ed Sullivan show. I was like, oh, my God. Is this like a groupie moment? I get my phone back. So I'm talking to him on the phone. I'm like, hi, Mr. Gregory. Thank you for, thank you for calling me. So I'm explaining. I was like, look, I only got $1,000, but I really would like you to come. I was like, I can get you a first class flight. I can put you in the best hotel in Chicago. Now, not knowing that he's very known in Chicago. Like, I'm not, I don't even know this, but I'm just and so he's like, $1,000. I was like, yeah. First class flight. I said, yeah. He said, only aisle. I only sit in the aisle seat. I said, okay. He said, not the front row. He said, not the first row for first class, second row. And so I was like, okay, second or third row. I said, okay. He was like, you better make sure. No, he said, I need you to send me $500 in a postal money order and then overnight it to me. I was like, oh my God, facts.
Old school.
Now I got to get a postal money order. Bet. Okay, cool, no problem. So then he goes, and one more thing. And I said, yes, you better make sure every motherfucking seat is filled.
You hear me?
And I said, all right. And he said, all right, God bless. And hung up the phone. So I was like, oh my God. Da, da, da. So I remember my first show at the Laugh Factory. I remember, getting the old fashioned flyers, putting it everywhere, happy. Oh man, I got Dick Gregory. I'm posting on Facebook. Everybody like, damn, Dick Gregory, he's still alive. I said, fuck, damn, yes, he's still alive. And so they were like, damn, Dick Gregory gonna be here. So then I remember I reached out to Chicago Tribune, let them know that I was having Dick Gregory. So they were like, okay, cool. We'll set up a interview. We would love to interview him, stuff like that. I said, great. I remember the week before, me and my mother walked to the Laugh Factory just to see how many tickets were sold. And they were like, "Oh, you're at 20 tickets." And I'm like, the week before the show, 20 tickets? And I'm like, this man just said I better have every motherfucking seat filled. I was like, this is crazy. Because I'm used to doing like 40 seaters. Like I'm not used to doing this is a 350 seater. So I'm like, I don't know. So that Monday, the article, he interviewed with Chicago Tribune. That Wednesday, we went and picked him up from the airport. Took care of him, made sure everything was good. One of my friends, she got dressed up. She had a Mercedes. She was a driver. We thought we was doing it. You know what I'm saying? And we went to go get him, put him in one of the best hotels in Chicago, and took care of his food, everything like that. So when he came down that night, I remember a couple of my friends from DC, they flew into town, all this stuff. And I remember, I'm like, damn, he's taking forever to come downstairs. I hope everything was okay. And he comes downstairs. I remember one of my friends sends me a picture on our way there because I'm still nervous because all I know is 20 seats.
Right.
She sends me a picture and she's like, bitch, it's packed from one side to the other side. I'm so proud of you. Da, da, da. And so when we pull up, he gets out the car, and everybody starts clapping. And I'm like, whoa, my mother's so happy. She's there dressed up, telling her, but that's my daughter, just feel proud. And I remember after the show, there was a guy that came up to the front. Everybody's getting like autographs from him. And this guy was like, hey, Dave Chappelle's on the phone and wants to talk to Dick Gregory. And I was like, okay. And so I said, Mr. Gregory, I said, Mr. Chappelle is on the phone. And he said, who? And I was like, Dave Chappelle. He said, oh, so he takes the phone. And they talking for a minute and stuff like that. And so I remember the guy who had the phone, he was like, hey, do you have any of his books? And I was like, no, like I'm lucky I got this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not thinking about Birch or anything like that or something like that. And so after that, after he signed everything, when I was taking him back to the hotel, I was like, thank you so much. I'll be here in the morning to drop you off at the airport. And he was like, from now on, I'll give you 20% for anything you book. And that's how the relationship started.
Just hired you. Wow.
Right then and there. That's amazing. That's amazing. And a legend,
And a legend.
And a legend.
And I'll say maybe 6 months after that, I did my show at the Castle here. It's no longer here. It used to be called the Excalibur. And then they changed it to the Castle. I did my show with him and Paul Mooney. So I got my picture.
Right.
I got plenty of pictures.
And you didn't have to pay $50.
And didn't have to pay $50.
Man, that's a dope ass story, man.
That is.
That's
and
dope.
rest in power to Mr. Dick Gregory as well as Paul Mooney. My maiden name is Gregory. I'm gonna have to dig a little deep into my ancestry because my maiden name is Gregory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be it. Hey, yo, what's up? What's going on, DJ Scrap Dirty? Good to see you in the building. So fast forward today. Today is the beginning of the Democratic National Convention.
Yes.
You out there in Chicago. I know you pushing the Black agenda heavy. You mentioned the march that you got going on. What's on the agenda for the next couple of days?
So my the agenda for the next couple of days. Today is our march. I call it the Black Ultimatum March. Okay, because it's not no asking no more. It's not no, we gonna see what we can do. Look, I gave y'all the agenda because the thing is, if we let them give us an agenda, it's gonna be a people of color, minority, black and brown, and it ain't no black and brown.
No, it don't
it's
even
not
exist.
No black. It doesn't even exist. So, what I can't speak for all of Black America. But I met with some of Kamala's people last Saturday to let them know that Illinois is going to flip red, and that's just what it is. Black Chicago was upset I said, but I am going to give y'all this black ultimatum to give to her white chief of staff who's out here going to fuck the Democratic Party up, and the rest of these white racist white racist supremacy people. I just can't stand them, any of that. It makes me mad. I'm getting upset. But anyway, it is a proposal for the establishment of the Department of Black American Affairs. We need our own department. Just like they have Department of Education, Freedmen's Bureau. But I've heard, and I have to, I'm new to this, so I love to be a teacher with this too, because what I know is economics, and what I know is that white people only understand economics. They have no compassion. They don't give a fuck. They just care about economics, and that's what we need to be on. Right. So, but we also need our history. So that's where the historians come in. That's when, about the Freedmen Bureau and stuff like that. Like they can reopen that. But I also was told that Kamala Harris has, sort of messed that up with putting people of color, a minority.
Yep. She has, respectfully.
Yeah, so that shit has to be taken out because it is for us.
It always was for us.
Yeah,
and
it's always
disrespectful for them because they didn't include us into the anti-Asian hate crime bill on the COVID. Black wasn't mentioned one time in that.
Not one time. So I'm tired of, and then I'm tired of these minorities that they consider minorities coming in, fucking up shit that was supposed to be for us.
And they're anti-black too.
Yes. This is it's turned into one big supremacy, and it's in all nationality. And us as Black Americans, as this new generation, as the new adults, as whatever we want to call each other, we have to be like, y'all got us fucked up. You understand? Like our ancestors, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, they did everything they had to do to give us our Black privilege, because we're under Black privilege. And a lot of people need to understand. We are Black privilege. We are like I said on the Breakfast Club, we are the Bank of America. We are the culture. We are America. And y'all need to run us our money. And if you're not going to run us our money, then how are you going to get mad if motherfuckers go over here and vote for Trump or vote for the Republicans? Because at the end of the day, you can't sit here and say, well, what has the Republicans ever did for you? Well, we don't know, because we have not all went the fuck over there and saw who was over there. This is about, this is about power.
Right.
Okay? This is about power, about who's going to get in that White House.
That's it.
Yeah. So I gave the Democratic Party, well, Kamala people, the Black ultimatum. Now I would like to meet with Trump people and give him the Black agenda, because we have to give them a chance to look at this agenda and say, you know what, we can work with this. Because with white people, they look at money. They look at how much,
business.
Black America, that's really the bank. That is the bank, yeah. I mean, if they take their dollar out, we're fucked. You understand? Like, and that's just what it is. The Democratic Party has been making so much money off of our oppression that we are all our ancestors, our grandparents, some Gen Xers are suffering from PTSD and normalized trauma. And and to the point that this is just a white man's word. This is just what they do. No, like
we don't have to accept that.
And we don't have to accept that. And that's what I'm on. Anybody that tries to go back and forth, well, what if they're going to do this? What are you talking about? What if? It ain't no what if. It's not no what if. It's y'all going to do this or not. That's just my prime example of me suing Delta Airlines. I sued Delta Airlines because of my shirt that said "Paper Pussy Peace." On top of them calling me a it, they called me a he. Now y'all so big on these pronouns. I don't even give a fuck about that pronoun fight shit.
Right.
I don't get that's just ridiculous.
It's
but
stupid.
what you're not gonna do is call me no motherfucking it. So now I'm gonna use this pronoun fight. What the fuck did you just call me? So
that's what they do.
That's what they do. So now, while I'm on the flight flying to Chicago from Atlanta, which is crazy because Atlanta gay as fuck. So bitch, Now, why the fuck would you disrespect me in Atlanta?
Right.
Okay, so and she admits that she called me all of this stuff. They
Oh.
yeah they
Oh.
I write the CEO because I write the CEO of Delta while I'm on the flight. They get back to me like 2 weeks later. In the letter, they admit that she called me this, that she didn't realize all this stuff, and then at the end they say, also you are more than welcome to wear your brand anytime. Anytime, you don't have to worry about it. Da, da, da. I'll say 3 times later, they did the same shit. One time it was a pilot. The pilot says you can't wear your hat, but wear your shirt. No, no, do you wear my shirt? I said, the pilot said I can't wear my shirt. Isn't the pilot fucking flying the plane?
Right. You can't
The
even
fuck
see
is
it.
you? What the fuck is you talking about? So I said fine. So I took that because I had to make this. I had to make this flight. So I took that shirt off and put. I have another shirt. Monogamy is for broke people. Now I'm gonna have all these white people uncomfortable, when it comes to that. So I put that. So I put that shirt on and wore that. So when I got home, I tried to call a couple of civil rights attorneys. I said, "Hey man," I said, "I got this good case." I said, and all of them kept saying, "Well, what's the injury?" I said, "What the fuck do you mean? Emotional,
Oh.
emotional."
Being crunk. They want
Yeah,
you have to be dead.
yeah.
Being
I
crunk.
said, "Yeah, emotional." So they would not do it. So I
Mm.
filed it myself.
Mm.
And I have a black. My mother's always been big on mental health. I've had a therapist on and off my whole life ever since I was a child. So I had my therapist. I put everything together, all the bills together, and gave it to them. Now I gave them a demand letter and told them that I'm demanding $100,000. But if y'all settle within 30 days, y'all can give me $20,000, and that's what happened.
What?
Yeah. So it's really not hard. We make it complicated. We make it
Yeah.
complicated, and I don't argue with people who try to make it complicated when it comes to us because we still have, first of all, we still have yet to get our debt owed to America. So until we get that, I was any nationality challenge me with any fucking thing.
Right.
You
We're
know,
the
we
reason why they're here for the
right.
most part. Immigrants, period. It's our
Yeah.
1964 Civil Rights Act, that allowed minorities, to be placed here. And these very people are using the Civil Rights Act for themselves. You have the white LGBT community that's using
That's
the
an
Civil
agenda.
Rights Act, to benefit them, as well as some of these other, immigrants, Hispanic, Black as well. Hence
Right.
why lineage matters, especially when we're trying to claim, what is owed from us from the government. We have to be very, very specific about who we are as Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, the descendants of freedmen, because if we try to do this whole Black umbrella, we already shot ourselves in the foot. So there's no hate, to any other melanated person, but we have to focus on the resources specifically for foundational Black Americans, and we'll come talk to y'all later. And y'all should respect that as well. We also have to start looking at the lineage of these people that we are voting in office, because not all of them carry the same or have the same lineage as we do. And if they're melanated immigrants, first, second, third generation, they're always going to prioritize immigration over a Black agenda, a specific Black American agenda. We're not. We have here in California, I'm in LA, we
Okay.
have a California Reparations Commission here that's doing
Hmm.
great work. You know what I'm saying? But they're still talking about HR 40, which is a nothing burger that's been on the table for 40 years and not doing anything. And we have, unfortunately, a lot of Black immigrants in charge of that. But we're not included in CARICOM and Cobra, which is for Africans and Caribbeans. We're not included in that, but you have, Black immigrants that are upset with us, for putting our lineage above anything. And if you are a student of Dr. Claude Anderson, I'm
Hmm.
sure you are, we know better now. We got to do better. And not voting for the Democratic Party or sitting this election out or even going red. That doesn't mean If I choose to sit at home, that doesn't mean that it's a vote for Donald Trump, because I'm not advocating for voting for him either unless there's tangibles on the table
Right.
from both parties.
And the thing is, when you have a person like Roland Martin, who
Lord,
is the biggest sellout, and now it's really starting, like,
you saw it.
we're starting to call him out now, like, you
Yeah.
just a stupid motherfucker. But the issue is, and this is from the Democratic Party, that he harasses the National Democratic people every time it's election cycle for his money, for millions. When his following, and they say his following is about 20 people. No one doesn't follow Roland Martin anymore. But that check, if you get in millions, you got to continue to say shit like our freedom is on the line. No, nigga,
Right.
your freedom is on the line.
Your money.
Because because that check is going to end if the Democratic Party does not get back in. So when people say our freedom in line, even, you know, Angela Rye, all of them, I mean, crying on
Oh, you
Joanne
see that?
Reed. I mean, crying. What the fuck is
Who's
you
a
crying
Jamaican
for?
immigrant, by the way. Joy
Yeah,
Reid is not a foundational Black American. Again, this is no diss to any melanated person. You know what I'm saying? But you're not of our lineage, so you don't get to speak for us. And that's
right,
another thing that we have to, stop. We cannot allow non-Black Americans to speak for the needs of Black America, period.
right. And that is the problem, that now, as a unit, and I don't know if it's the end of Gen X, like the late, like 77, 78, 79 to the 80s and the early 90s, that's like, nah, fuck this shit. Like, who do y'all think y'all are? And
Mm,
who are gonna do this? Y'all gonna continue this same cycle and try to tell us you have to vote this way? Nah, because let me tell you something. I reached out to Roland Martin when this first happened. I reached out to Angela Rye. I reached out to
mm.
Joanne Reed. I reached
Usual
out
suspects.
to Tiffany, whatever that other girl is on Native Podcast. I reached out to, because I know someone in their circle that has a group chat with all of them, that went over my case with me. I mean, went over my mom's papers before we put in a lawsuit. And she was one of the people who said, yeah, she has a case. She said, but you have to put it in a federal lawsuit because they're going to look at her as this crazy old lady. Now, what I'm going to do is we have a group chat, and why all of them in there, Joanne Reed. I'm going to put this in the group chat to let them know, hey, y'all need to do this story. Nobody refused. They all refused this story. They refused this
Mm,
story. So that's when I realized, like, oh yeah, y'all motherfuckers fucked up. So what I will say when it comes to Charlemagne took my story
right,
and he let me
right.
explain my story. So Charlemagne, I will never, ever, ever have no hate for Charlemagne, because Charlemagne gave me that platform to finally release what I've been trying to tell people, and these people have tried to silence me in Chicago for a year. My friends thought I was going crazy. Everybody thought I was losing my mind, and I just had to play their game. My alter ego is Nino Brown, so I had to get into Nino Brown.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Oh, this is big business. Oh, it's the American way.
Mm.
Oh, okay, y'all want to play this game? Okay, okay, we're gonna play this game. So I started going into the meetings, and I started telling them. I said, if you do not settle this case, I'm gonna flip this state red. I said, because I watched when Georgia flipped that state blue. I was there. I was working with Killer Mike and them at that time. Oh, y'all arrested me twice. Y'all trying to switch me out so I can't get into these meetings. Bet. Oh, y'all kept me out for 4 months. I come back in with a Make Chicago Great Again hat. Now y'all really got me fucked up.
And
Okay.
these are Democrats doing this to
These
you,
are
right?
yeah, this is
Yeah.
a Democratic too, right? Yeah, so I'm going off, going crazy. So then, but now, because I've been arrested twice, okay, I've done all the stuff I need to do. I got the police down there on my side now because they pissed off. You understand? Everybody, because they can't arrest these migrants. It's an
What?
executive order signed Lori Lightfoot did this because then fucking Latino aldermen cornered her and told her that she had to sign this executive order. So ICE can't work with CPD can't work with ICE. So no matter how many times they commit crimes, do whatever they want, they get let back out because they can't. They cannot. Yeah, they can't get arrested. So the police mad. Everybody mad. You know. So that's what I'm saying. And
when they had jumped the police officer in New York, they got out the same day. No
yeah.
bail, no nothing.
And now, but you know what the crazy thing is? And Home Depot is getting sued by a bunch of migrants right now, and suing CPD because they're being discriminated because they standing outside of Home Depot asking for work. Now they can sue CPD. They can sue CPD and they're suing Home Depot, and black lawyers are taking these cases, right? But they won't take our cases.
Won't take our cases.
But CPD can't arrest them.
That's crazy.
That's another thing that you talked about in your Breakfast Club interview too, about how difficult it is to find lawyers,
right?
Black lawyers, civil rights attorneys, and all of that. Like talk about that. Like just trying to find legal representation.
They act like we don't have no civil rights out here unless we get shot by the police.
Right.
Like anything else you talk to them about, they be like, yeah, but it's gonna be what? It's a violation of our civil rights. What the fuck is you talking about? It's a violation of my rights. What are you talking about? Yeah, but you gotta understand it's gonna be hard. What is hard? And so you deal with that over and over and over again. So a lot of people just give up because they're not gonna do the research. Not me. I'm gonna do the research. I've been arguing my whole life. You know, I called my third grade teacher a racist. My mother trained me when it came to these motherfuckers. So
I love your mama.
Yeah. So I'm not scared of none of these white people, and I have grace when it comes to us. And that's just gonna always be us. You know how many times I be called, "Oh, you fat dyke." All right, I love you. Fuck you too. But at the end of the day, we got to get this money. Like that's just what it is. I don't care about none of that. We are at a race of emergency, and that's just what it is. We don't have any civil rights attorneys that care about us. You know, by the grace of God, with the Breakfast Club, now that I have two attorneys, you know, and it took me to expose, and I guess I think back, you know, and there are some great people out here, but when you're silenced, or when media is only putting certain things out there, you know, you're not being heard. Now we're being heard. Chicago is being heard. You know, they even took Chicago media out of like the committee meetings because we kept there's another lady that's down there fighting with me too. Her name is Miss Jessica Jackson, and because we kept making the news, but only Fox News. Like Fox News had me when I said, "We built this country. We built this. We built this." You know, and they Brandon Johnson and start having them, you know, take us out or whatever. So I mean, take the media too. Yeah, but he has no one respects him here. But they had the media take that out. So what I kept telling Miss Jackson is, you know what we're gonna do? We got these 3 minutes. I'm gonna take each clip and I'm just gonna post them on my social media. I said, and I just geared it up to when I finally reached out to Charlamagne. I was like, bro, I need 30 minutes. Just give me 30 minutes. I said, the city of Chicago got me fucked up, and I think they think that they're going to continue to get away with this. It's not just my property that they've done this to. Yes, Miss Jessica's dealing with probate court. Now you got a will, and they still trying to take her house in probate court. There's another lady that just got evicted out on Friday. 3 generations she's been in these 2 houses in Woodlawn. They did a legal foreclosure. What they did was she did a reverse mortgage, which I really don't recommend them because that's a whole nother thing. But they changed her loan from FHA to conventional without her knowledge. It went up from $800 a month to $3,600. And when she was trying to get help, you can't get no help. You can't get no lawyers. You can't get nothing. So now 3 generations in Woodlawn. That's a very prime area in Chicago, Black Chicago. They took her whole property. 3 generations. That's her generational wealth. Her family was in there. all out on the street. It's if you look at, I can send it to you when we get off, and just
Please.
look it up. It made the news. The University of Chicago, they're predatory. They're taking a lot of our properties. A lot of these University of Chicago, these schools are non-profits. You know how much money they make? They've been eminent domaining and redlining us for forever, and they've been making this money, and there's not nothing we can do because we can't get any help. I say all the time. I said, do you know if we could just get an attorney to sue all of the housing authorities in every city? Do you know how much money we would have? We would
Man.
break.
There's just so
We
much.
would break. We would break America. We
Well,
would
they
break
owe it
America.
anyway. I'm not worried about where they're gonna get it from because they're giving money to Ukraine and to all these migrants
Yeah.
and stuff like that, the money just pours freely. But as soon as we start talking about resources specifically for us or for reparations, where the money gonna come from? That's gonna cripple America. But you're
Right.
not worried about it when you're giving trillions to everything else. Print some. I don't care how you get it,
Oh
print
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it. You
When
know?
I talk to like my mother, one of my mother's business partners who actually is is helping us with this too. He's Indian, Al, and Al. When I remember, he was showing me something with tech, and I was like, well, how are we gonna get this money? He said, do you know how much the government has? The government has a lot of money. The government, and that's all they say. They don't want
Yes.
to hear.
The
They don't want to
government.
hear nothing else. Do you know how much the government got? What are you talking about? So, and that's what we got to be on. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? And
Exactly.
that, yeah, we always is, well, what if, worst case scenario? It ain't no worst case scenario, because again, if we were able to, if somebody was willing to take that challenge to sue HUD,
Mm-hmm.
sue CHA, the president would come down and sit and talk to us. They would have to give Black America HUD and CHA and let us do it because
Right.
they violated so much. So I think it's just about, if I call this the Black ultimatum this time. I also call it like a boycott. I always say, like, we have everything that we need for the Reconstruction era. Now we have law enforcement, or Black law enforcement, or Black public safety, and we literally can separate from this mainstream government. Like, let the Democrat, let these
Crash and
migrants,
burn.
let these migrants and these fucking weird ass LGBTQ fucking people have a Democratic Party. Let these men who are getting our henpecked and letting they bitch run everything. Let y'all can have the Democratic Party, and we need to go on over to the Republican side and do exactly. Give them our vote and say, hey, this is our agenda. Now we're gonna give you this. We need this right now. Now, if you don't do it, the next step is independent. Okay, we lay one plantation. We're gonna go over to this. Not even a plantation. This is a proposal of the Republican Party. If y'all don't respect us, then we're gonna go ahead and do this independent. Because Black America, we have enough. We have enough people, and we have enough real allies that will also go over there and let us run the shit. So
I
that's
like the
just,
idea. I like the idea of us being very strategic with the vote and using
Very.
the
yeah,
leverage that we have as a voting block. Many of us, we have been advocating for the couch as an
right,
alternative. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people look at that as to say, well, one thing that they like to say, a non-vote is a vote for Trump. That's bullshit. Or
Right.
if you are not voting, you're just sitting on your hands, you're not participating, so you don't have a right to criticize. But it's actually strategic, and they're doing something out there, and I think it's in Michigan. The Muslim
mm-hmm,
community out there are doing something called the non-committed vote,
mm-hmm,
and it's basically the same thing. They're basically choosing the couch, but instead they are going down and they're just marking in non-committed just to show the actual numbers.
Right.
Because what they're advocating for is a ceasefire. That's
right,
their thing. They ceasefire over there in the Middle East, and so they just
right,
want to go down there, especially during the primaries. They did this. Go down there and show how much votes y'all would have had if y'all would have met our demands. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So
and that's what
that's
we
what.
have to do. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we have to find. I said, and we don't have to go out there and draw like today. You know, if I have 20 people out there, if I had 10 people out there, I'm still doing my march because I know the power in our vote. Just like I met with Kamala people. They already asked, you know what I'm saying? I sat with them on Saturday and gave them the black ultimatum. I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna lose Illinois. She's gonna lose Illinois. So it's just
Good.
Illinois has already been red. It's been black Chicago. Y'all motherfuckers thought y'all was gonna come here. Put these migrants in our fucking communities that's already under resourced. Then give them $2.2 billion, and we just supposed to say, okay, no, y'all got us fucked up
And
because
hostile ones at that. You know, did you
yeah,
see that video
yes,
of that one talking about you guys lazy, you lazy
yeah,
and stuff like that? I'm saying, oh, y'all sending some hostile, migrants over here.
exactly.
And everyone isn't here to seek asylum. These people are here to compete with us for resources.
Right, and the Democratic Party is allowing that because they've let the Democratic Party be full of migrants.
Hmm.
You know,
Yes.
why would I vote? You know, people keep talking about when I even see people arguing back and forth about Kamala being black, African American. I'm like, first of all, she never acknowledged neither one of them because she knows she's Indian.
Right.
Second, yeah. And second of all, you got to look at this again as black and brown. She's a brown.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no black and brown.
Mm-mm.
Okay? It
Right.
ain't no black and brown. So that's what I look at. I see people going back and Roland Martin. Look, y'all not gonna let the first black nigga. She's not black.
She's not black.
She's
She's been
she's
Indian up
brown.
until she ran, with Biden. She was always an Indian woman, and we're gonna hold her to that.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
gonna hold her
care.
to it. Yeah,
I don't
and
give a damn that she went to an HBCU and that she pledged a sorority. So did Rachel Dolezal.
yeah, and she went to jail for welfare fraud.
Right.
So
And
at the
she was a
end,
professor though.
right,
Graduated and was a professor at a black college, cosplaying as a black woman when she was a
and
Caucasian the whole time.
was minding her business. She know
Mm-hmm.
how to fry chicken. She knows how to
Braid hair.
braid.
Braid hair.
Yeah, okay.
She
She's
was
delusional.
she was like top brass in the NAACP too.
Yeah,
Right.
she's delusional. You
Right.
understand?
And
You
so
know,
is
so
Kamala.
yeah, but
That's the same
but
thing.
and like I'm so glad they got Sean King out of here. That was
You hear
another
me?
cosplay.
Do you see?
You know,
Happy
you
birthday
know,
to him and about
yeah,
him.
Oh,
I'm
he's
glad.
Muslim now.
Yeah,
He's
but they got
Muslim now and doing some
they
other
got
stuff.
yeah, but that right there, but Black America got Sean King up out this bitch.
Yep.
You understand? So that's the power that we have. And right now we have our vote because everybody can't be out here protesting. You
Mm-mm.
understand? We got a lot of black people in corporate America that we
Yeah.
need them to stay in corporate America.
Right.
You understand? So it's just about our vote and what are we going to do? And they need us. We don't need them. So
Mhm.
when people say it's kind of ignorant that you say to not vote for me, to not vote. What's ignorant? It's ignorant that neither one of these political parties have helped me with this illegal eminent domain and all these
Right.
black properties being stolen in the black community in Chicago and all over. Because I have over 100 emails since the Breakfast Club of other people's properties being taken or currently being taken. So
Right.
that's ignorant. That's ignorant. So to tell me, but it's a lot of people that don't understand too because y'all paying mortgages. I'm
Yeah.
talking about paid off properties now.
Right. That's
Paid
money.
off properties
That's
that we
money.
yeah. And yeah, so just because you make sure you pay your taxes a year and your monthly mortgage payment, that it must be more to it. No, it ain't more to it. This is just what they've been doing. This is our 40 acres and a mule that they have yet to give us, and now they found a way how to take it in the name of nonprofits, crooked ass clergy. You've got these weird ass, old ass sellout influencers like a Roland Martin, and then the new ones that's
Steve
coming in.
Harvey.
Yeah, Steve Harvey, that you coming in, the new ones that y'all are training to do the same thing.
Mhm.
And so now it's us stopping that shit. Like, nah. And my thing is the government will dismantle if we fucking say if no black person vote November was it November 5th?
Mhm.
Just say no black person vote at all. Do you know how embarrassing that election gonna look? And you talking about our freedom is on the line? Who freedom on the line? Ain't nobody freedom on the fucking line. They will be
Exactly.
like, damn,
Right.
damn, they got to they caught on. It'll never be the Democratic Party will be a once upon a time. It'll
Good.
be the migrants. It'll be the migrants and the progressive Hispanic, Latinos, and Muslims all out here fighting and shit. amongst each other because they fucked it up with the help of these sellout blacks.
But Zoe,
Yeah.
if we let the Republicans get in there, they're gonna do away with all the DEI programs. And you're a black woman and you're a gay woman too. So don't you ain't you afraid of that?
I need my money. I need my economic
I need my
resources. I don't
money.
give a fuck about none of that shit. Okay, give me
That's a
my
shirt. I need my
goddamn.
money.
Yeah, I need my money. I don't care about that. I dealt with racism.
Right.
Racism is going to be here. We're dealing with
Period.
racism right now. We're dealing with the worst type of racism in the Democratic Party because this
So,
is black people being prejudiced against black
Black
people,
people.
and they're trying to say, well, it's not racist because how can it be racist when we gave you all the first black president? Yes, they did nothing
They
for
did
us.
right.
nothing.
Yeah, so now we're going.
No,
Now we need to put the first black. Now we need to put the first black woman. She's not black. First
no,
of
she's
all, so
not
just
black.
stop. So stop saying that. And number two is no. And my thing is also a lot of people say, well, you got to understand Trump saying that when he gets in, he's going to overthrow democracy. He says everything. Then they can say
Right.
when he was in office the first time, he was saying the craziest shit, and nobody. It was like,
We
boy,
didn't
shut up.
experience it.
Yeah, we didn't
Right.
experience it, and niggas was not paying $8 for bread.
Right. I'm
Know
just saying,
that.
Yeah,
and you know what I
yeah.
say? In the words of Professor Black Truth, we're not here to save democracy. We're here to save ourselves.
And that's
Period.
and if black people move like that, we have to move as a unit. I got to
Yep.
end this because I got to head back. But
Okay.
I will end it with this. We don't have to like each other. We don't have to be cool. We got to treat this like a science project when they just put us in a group and we got to get this A. And this is how we got to treat this election. We are a unit. We are one big dysfunctional ass family. Call it whatever you want to call it. We're going to have our arguments. We're going to have our views, but we got to treat this as a unit. And if I believe that we need a department of Black American Affairs, freedmen, whatever, and they have the means to do it. They have. I put the structure. I put the creation of it. I put the leadership and structure. No politician should be over it. We should be over it.
I
People like
agree.
us, and they have the money to put in it. They found $16 trillion for COVID, and they found all this money for these migrants. So it should be no issue. So I don't want to hear it needs to be a study. No, it has not, because and I will say this too, with these reparation commissions that's all over the place, they're also pimping us.
Yep.
Okay, there was one person that made $500,000 a year for studying
So you
reparations.
post that. I saw you post that. What the
How the
hell is that?
fuck?
Mm.
How the
So it's
fuck?
a hustle.
Yes, you got your reparations, bitch.
Right. We're
You know what I'm
ours.
saying? Yeah. So it has to come from like my elders have been telling me, it has to come from a federal level. So it has to be a federal commission. And if it's not, and so that's part of the black agenda as well as for this department. And then with that, we put the best economists, the best accountants, the best lawyers, with the best historians, and it should not take no fucking 40 years like that
No.
HR
We know
40
the
bill
history.
to
We know
give
the
us our
history.
goddamn reparations.
We know the history.
And that's just what it is.
And the history is well documented.
Very
Period. You
documented.
know what I'm saying? Most of us have already spoken to our great grandmothers and stuff like that. The history is very well documented. So
Yeah.
the study is over. It's
This,
time to start cutting the checks.
Yep, it's our country, and this is the 60-year anniversary of the 19th Civil Rights Act, and
Right.
like Dr. King Jr. said, that okay, they done got us fucked up. I done fucked up real quick, but this time we're coming for our check,
We coming to get
and
our check.
yeah, and this time we're coming to get our fucking check.
Absolutely.
Period. Period.
Look,
Well,
Zoe, I know it's about time for you to get up out of
Yeah,
here. We appreciate you taking the time to tap in with us. You're welcome to come back anytime. You know what I'm saying? Come chop it up with us. But let everybody know where they can follow you at, your YouTube channel. I also got your website up here for your brand. So let people know how they can support you.
on Instagram is Mr. Steal Your Wig 1. On Twitter or X or whatever, it's Mr. Steal Your Wig 1 too, but you can type in Zoe Leigh. I have a podcast called Dick Gregory Taught Me that's on all streaming platforms. Spotify is my favorite, but you can go through buzzsprout.com. My YouTube is Mr. Steal Your Wig, I think, as well, if not Uncomfortable Truth Lifestyle. And my email is Leigh, LEIGHZOE23@gmail.com. And I'll end it with this: all hands on deck.
Period. All hands on deck. Thank you, Zoe Leigh,
Thank you
for tapping in. Keep us, I hope you're sharing some video as well as photos on Instagram or your social media as to what the vibe is out there at the DNC National Convention. Thank you for putting, stump in the yard, putting in that work, and make sure you guys all support, support her brand, of course, because all of that helps the cause as well. So we appreciate you coming on today.
Oh, and also my mother does have a nonprofit. Notre Dame Affordable Housing. The mission was to help veteran families, and what she was doing with the building was picking that, .org. I always say .com. I gotta say .org. I'm fucking up. But it was to build for what I would say, it was four apartments that was supposed to be for veteran families, and then social services for them. And my mother built this by herself. My mother went to college. She did everything that she thought that she was supposed to. The American dream. And because she wanted to be an entrepreneur and work for herself, they have always pushed her back or stuff like that. My mother was just way before her time, and I'm not going to allow it. So we do have a GoFundMe, and, support that, because, they did knock the building down. We do have the blueprints, and she's just trying to build it back up.
This was the building here.
Yes.
Right.
So
is the GoFundMe link on this site?
Yeah, it's on that site.
Okay. All right, cool.
I appreciate it. All hands on deck. But I'll keep y'all posted. We out here all week. I'm supposed to be having another meeting with her camp this week, and like I said, I'm waiting for Trump to come this way. So
you still perform, by the way? You still do stand up?
I'm about to I think go back to it. I had started. I was gonna do the Dick Gregory Taught Me comedy. I did one last year at City Winery, but then this happened, so I had to stop everything. But I was about to go do City Winery in New York and all of that, and I had to stop. So I'm getting back on that too. It'll probably be after this election, because we gotta win this. We gotta make history. Black America has to make history.
And we on our last leg, y'all. We're drowning out here. We're literally being smothered, what I'm saying, with all these migrants and other, benign neglect policies that they've enforced on us. And we've accepted for too long. You know what I'm saying? So we do have to put our hands on deck and push back and demand, what is owed to us. It's not a handout.
Not a handout.
I don't like to hear Negroes saying that. It's not a handout. It is what is owed.
Oh, absolutely. Ain't no handout.
Thank you to everybody tapping in. Thank you. Some chick named Star. She dropped all of the links for Zoe inside the chat. All of the links are inside the chat. And I'm going to post them in the description as well for those of y'all checking us out on the replay. But yeah, this was a special episode of the Black Business Showcase on Sustain Up the Godcast. Zoe Leigh. Appreciate everybody.
And anytime y'all need me, I don't mind coming back.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.
And so that's it, fam. That does it for today's episode. Always remember, we are not the master teachers, but we are the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media. We are out of here. Peace and Black love.
Like that. Let's see what's in the God's mind. Listen.